Hey everybody, I got some new knives. I did a video on them and I'll link that so you can see that as well with my new West KnifeWorks knife. This, well, there's a little bit of the sheath in there. This is the SuperBread knife. This is the deli knife. Ironwood handles. I've done a couple little cuts with these so far. They're amazing. I haven't really used them too much yet because I was saving them to do some videos to share with you guys. These are my normal 2 bread slicing knives. This is a Dexter Russell. I use this for briskets a lot, but I also use it for bread and for cutting bagels in the morning, stuff like that. Right here, this is about a $45 knife, I think. This is I don't even know what brand it is. I saw a link on an article on, I think, Serious Eats talking about bread knives and saying, buy a cheap one, you can use it, get rid of it and get a new one. I think this one was 25 bucks. They can be sharpened. It's not as easy for home sharpeners necessarily, just run it through the sharpener. You have to have a little special thing that goes into each little groove, but they can be sharpened. Most people, like a $25 knife, I don't know if I'd ever bother sharpening it. It's been a great knife. It cuts bread well. A couple flaws in it that we'll talk about. And this is the SuperBread knife from New West KnifeWorks. This is over $400, so it's definitely more expensive than those, but let's see how it cuts. My wife just made some loaves of bread today, so I want to cut these and see how it does. One of the problems that you run into a lot of times on bread is, this one's not too bad, but sometimes the bottom crust is tough, and as you're slicing, you get down to the bottom and you can't cut through it. Good thing about this knife is because it's more like a chef's knife style. There's room for your knuckles underneath there, so when you get down to the bottom of the board, you can still cut. Whereas a knife like this, you get down here and your knuckles start hitting and you can't get the blade all the way down to the cutting board. So I'm going to do it's pretty much the first slice. I did cut a bagel in the other video just because it was here and I wanted to cut something. Bread knife through this loaf. Let's see how it goes. A lot of times, I mean, also, it's kind of a crusty loaf. This isn't like super crusty, kind of crusty. Sometimes it's hard to get through that without squishing it. So I'm going to use pretty light pressure. And that slices right through. Again, when you get down to the bottom, you can slice along the whole bread. I've never had a bread knife cut that nice. I'm not just saying that because this is an expensive knife and those are cheap. Let me show you. I'll cut a slice with this. You see, you have to kind of saw back and forth. Then you get to the bottom, and it's kind of a pain to get through that bottom crust. Right here, barely any pressure on this knife. Get down to the bottom, and it slices right through that bottom crust with very little effort. Again, this knife, these two are pretty similar when it comes to cutting. Not much difference. Let me try the deli knife. This one's a little bit harder because it's smaller, but it should still function about the same. So once you can get through that top crust, again, this one's a smaller one, so it's not really designed to cut a big loaf like this. If you stand the loaf on its end, you can probably cut it a little better. But you get to the bottom, it goes right through it. I mean, let me cut this one in half. I mean, that's so little effort. These knives are so sharp. It's a really high quality metal, a high carbon steel. I think it's like 58 to 60 on the Rockwood scale, if that means anything to you. It's got more carbon in the steel than a lot of other, even good knives like Schoon and Wusthof. This is a higher carbon, so that means it's going to be a harder blade. It holds the edge better, and just the way they make the metal for these, they basically spray the metal and it forms little droplets. Then they compress all those, so it makes a much denser metal. And you can see the blade, it's thicker here than most knives. I think this is like 1.55 inches or 1.55 millimeters. Most knives are in the 1.3, 1.2 range, but then it tapers here. So you got a pretty light knife for how heavy duty it is. But yeah, like I said, cuts right through this crust, no problem. Now, should you go out and spend 400 bucks on a bread knife? Well, that's up to you. If you work in a sandwich shop and you're cutting bread all day long for sandwiches, probably it would be worth it. If you cut loaves like this once a month, you're probably just fine with a $25, $40, even $100 knife. But if you like good knives, new West KnifeWorks, I've been very impressed so far with even just how they feel, how they look, and how they perform. So I'll put some links down below for this company. You can go check the knives out yourselves. They have chef's knives, they have paring knives, they have steak knives. They even sell like old reclaimed cleavers and stuff. They have one, it's a hog splitter. I think it's like $15,000, but it's a really old hog splitter. The blade's probably, I don't know, this long, and it's got like a 3-foot handle. Looks pretty cool. But anyway, they have a lot of different knives they sell. Pretty much everything you need for your kitchen. And check them out. Again, I'm going to cut one more here just because I am very impressed with how well this cuts. I mean, you can almost put no pressure on the thing, and it's going right through that crust. Whereas, let's use this one this time. This one, it takes a little more effort to get through. So, beautiful knife, wonderful knife. Check them out. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Do all those great things for me. I'd appreciate it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.